Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dave, and welcome to Holiday for Two. I hope you're having a good day. And as always, I hope you have a good week ahead. Today, I'm going to be sharing 5 tips with you, real timely tips on saving money on your gas and your RV as you're planning your summer traveling. And right now in Phoenix area, I don't know about where you live, but in our area in Phoenix right now, gas prices are hovering around 470, 480 a gallon. So saving money on your gas is certainly going to be a helpful tip for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to share 5 tips to help you save some money on your gas as you're planning your summer travel. Let's go.
I'm hoping I can take a holiday and spend some time with you. Trying hard to take some time away and have a peaceful day or two. So someday when my ship comes in, I know just what we'll do. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two. We'll pack our bags and quit our jobs and have a holiday for two.
All right, so I'm going to try and keep this fast and quick and give you some tips to maybe help you save a little money on your gas. You know, it's funny because traveling by an RV is one of the most cost-effective ways to travel with a family or as a couple because you're not spending money on hotels and you're not spending money on eating out in restaurants and fast food. If you have an RV and you travel in your RV, you're going to go to the store, you're going to buy your own food, and for about a third of the cost, what it would cost you to eat out in a restaurant, you can have some really nice meals fixed in your own RV, as well as sleeping every night in your own RV rather than sleeping in hotels. Because I don't know about you, but I know last summer when we traveled, we stayed in hotels, and hotels are not cheap anymore. And so staying in a campground is a better way to stay because you're in your own RV. But gas, well, that's the one thing that will get you, especially if you drive a big RV like we have, a motorhome. Whether you have a pickup truck pulling a trailer or a camper van or a Class C motorhome or even a Class A motorhome, maybe a diesel pusher. If you have a motorhome that uses diesel or a pickup truck, diesel is expensive too. So here are some tips to help you save. I'm going to give you the first tip right now. You're going to be using your phone for this one. This is go download Gas Buddy. If you don't have it on your phone right now, go and download Gas Buddy. I have Gas Buddy on my phone. I also have it on my tablet so I can check out the local prices in the area where we're going to be traveling. So that's my first tip, is use those apps that you can download on your phone. Gas Buddy, or if you go to places like Chevron, Mobil, Circle K, even Fry's has the Fry's fuel points. If you go to the gas stations, Costco, Sam's Club, they all have their own gas stations. So if they have apps where you can log on and save some money per gallon using your phone apps, that's a help right there, because sometimes you can save as much as 10 up to 50 cents a gallon. And at Fry's, if I use my Fry's fuel points, I can get up to $1 a gallon off on the price of fuel at the Fry's fuel stations. And number 2 is, this one's going to be hard for some people, but driving at a consistent speed and moderate speed. I don't know if any of you remember, I'm going to date myself real quick here, but do you remember when they lowered the speed limit across the United States to 55? Everybody was supposed to drive 55 on the freeways. It drove my grandpa crazy and drove my dad crazy because they were used to driving 75, 80 miles per hour, and everybody had to slow their speed down. Well, surprisingly, it does save money to drive at a slower speed. So if you have a big RV like this one, or a pickup truck, big Class A, whatever it is, if you go slower, you're going to save money on gas. Sometimes as much as 10% on your fuel mileage rather than going at a higher speed. So that's a little tip for you right there. Drive at a moderate speed. I try to keep my motorhome on the freeway about 60, 65, but I do find if I keep it at 60, it does help with the gas mileage, especially with this thing because it's like a big windbreak in the front. It's just a flat motorhome in the front, so you're pushing right into the wind. So anytime you can slow that speed down, it will save you some money in the long term on your gas. Let's go to number 3. Number 3 is not such a hard one to do, and a lot of folks remember this, but some folks forget it. It's to maintain the tire pressure on your vehicle. Now, most cars, pickup trucks, usually are about 35 pounds per tire. And you want to check your tire pressure all around your vehicle, because if your tires are running low on air, it can increase your gas. It can actually increase how much gas you use. So if you run your tires a little bit higher than what they might normally be, I wouldn't go too high, because you run the risk of blowouts, and you don't want those either. But if your tire pressure is low, then definitely bringing all your tires up to where they should be. On my motorhome, I keep my back tires about 75, my front tires about 65, and I don't like to run them too high in the back because it makes for a rough ride, but I don't want to run them too low either, because then it eats up gas. It also makes it spongy, and I don't like the ride, and it can run the risk of heating up your tires, especially in the summertime. If you run them low pressure, if your tires are low in pressure, they have a chance of heating up, and you run a risk of a blowout. So checking your tire pressure is a way to save sometimes as much as 5 and 10% depending on your tire pressure. So check those tires. Tip number 4 is reduce extra weight. And I laughed when I saw this tip pop up, but it really does make sense. I have lots of things going through my mind, but getting that extra weight out of your RV can really help. If you're carrying around a 500 pound barbecue in the back of your RV, you might, and you really don't need it, you might want to get rid of it, just because that's a lot of extra weight. All kidding aside, what I like to do is run with all my black tanks, gray tanks. Everything's empty when I start off on my trip, and my water tank I start off about 1/2 full. We have a 50-gallon water tank in our RV, and a 50-gallon water tank, if you keep it full while you're traveling, that's a lot of weight to carry around. So I usually run it at about half, and then when we get close to our destination, that's when I will fill it up. There are a lot of campgrounds that you can go stay in where they have places for you to take on water, and then you can fill up your water tank then, and then you're not driving around with that extra weight. That's just a way to save a little money on gas, not overload your RV or your motorhome full of weight that you don't need. So check that weight, get rid of that dead weight. Let's go to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is routine maintenance. Making sure you do the oil changes on your vehicle regularly. Make sure that you check your air filter. I read that if you check your air filter, if it's dirty, and you put a clean one in, you don't want to run with dirty filters, because they can use up to 10% more gas by running with a dirty air filter. So you want to check those air filters on your engine. You want to check your oil, make sure you've had to do an oil change. Also a tune-up if you need it. That'll help you save some money on gas. If your engine's not running in peak performance, then it will use more gas. A couple of little tips to throw in at the end here. One little tip that I like to use a lot that helps me save money on gas is just sitting down and planning my route that I'm going to take. If you use Google Maps on your phone or your tablet, you're going to put your destination, so that'll be point B. Your starting origin is, you're going to go from point A to point B. When you put that destination in there on Google Maps will usually try to find the best route for you to go from point A to point B, and it often will also look for routes that have less traffic, and you want to avoid places that have a lot of traffic. You also want to avoid hills and steep climbs and inclines, because you go uphill, that's going to lower your gas mileage right away. Sometimes you can't avoid going up grades and steep hills. It's just the nature of things, but if you can avoid it by going around the hills or somehow going through the valleys and not having to climb those high mountains and peaks and stuff, it will save you money. But if you're going through Colorado, places in Arizona, we have a lot of hills too, you're going to run into steep grades, and you're going to use gas on those grades. So my advice is, if you're climbing a steep grade, keep your speed steady. Don't try to go fast. Use your cruise control. That's another little tip for you. A lot of folks don't use their cruise control like they should. set your speed 60, 65 and just leave it there. And also use your tow mode on your vehicle. A lot of vehicles have what's called is a tow mode. If you're pulling a trailer or you're pulling a car behind you or anything that you're pulling, use that tow mode because it will help your engine run more efficiently while it's climbing, going up hills, and also while it's going down inclines and going downhill. All right, so just a couple of tips for you. Share real quick this little funny story. Around 1973, there was what they called the Arab oil embargo back in 1973. And I remember my grandpa, he couldn't wait to go out and buy the brand new Mustang Ghia. He had a 1968 Mustang. I think it had a 289 with the automatic transmission. It was a hot car. But he wanted to get something that was a little more fuel efficient. So he went down, and my grandpa was the kind, he always paid cash, right? So he went down, he couldn't wait to buy the brand new Mustang Ghia that came out in 1974, I think it was. And he bought one with a 4-cylinder engine. And he and my grandma drove all the way to California where we lived, up in Stockton. And my dad had just traded his Cougar in for a Buick Electra with a 455 4-barrel carburetor. And it was a beautiful car. It rode like you were sitting in your living room. But the Cougar, he said that was a piece of junk, so he wanted something better. So he bought this Electra. My grandpa came, and we took a drive from Stockton to Fallon, Nevada to see my uncle. And I kid you not, my grandpa thought he was going to get really great gas mileage. We drove from Stockton to Fallon, and when we filled up in between, my dad took less gas in the Buick Electra with a 455 4-barrel than my grandpa took in his little Mustang Ghia with the 4-cylinder engine. And my grandpa was fit to be tied. As soon as he got back to Tucson, he traded that 1974 Mustang Ghia in on a Buick Electra 4-door. It was a 1973 Buick Electra with 4 doors, and he kept that one for about 10-12 years. He was fit to be tied when he saw that the Buick got better gas mileage than his Mustang Ghia. I think my dad's Electra got about 19 miles per gallon on the highway. Whether it was climbing a hill or not, it didn't make a difference. It ran the same speed. You set the cruise control at 70 miles per hour and it just flew down the road. And yet it got better gas mileage than the Mustang Ghia. It was trying to climb hills. And I know my grandpa said, I can't even keep up with, he couldn't keep up with us in the Buick because he had his foot in the gas all the way. Trying to climb the hills between Stockton, California and Fallon, Nevada. There's some pretty steep grades right there. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you found this helpful and put some of those tips to use this summer. We are getting ready to plan our summer trip right now. We're going to be heading to the mountains for a couple weeks just to get cool, and then we're going to probably come back to the valley, and as soon as we can, get out of here again and head even higher. And I think we're going to probably end up at Big Lake this summer, so we'll show you more about Big Lake. Beautiful place up there. Safe travels wherever you're going this time of year. Get out and enjoy. It's a beautiful country out there. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe and then ring that little bell on the side so you'll be notified when I put out more videos in the future. Have a great one. Catch you on the next video. Bye, everybody.